Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and we can see that's the case right now with the Edomite, or the so-called white man in charge. This whole planet has been engulfed in confusion and wickedness. He does everything clean contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi in the scriptures and builds a society on it. Hence, why depression is at an all-time high, substance and alcohol abuse is at an all-time high, relationships are at an all-time low, birth rates are declining globally, etc., etc. And the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. And we saw a lot of that during 2019 to 2021 with the L downs due to the C019. People were inside and animals came out of the wilderness and were roaming these streets. And it's going to happen again, as society collapses and we're in the midst of Jacob's trouble. There's going to be wild animals roaming the streets, animals coming out of the zoos and attacking people. And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Hey, these strong, independent, single mothers out here that cannot raise a man or raise a boy to be a man, having these children out here and bringing forth these monsters, which is what I'm going to be going into with this video. This is an article from ZeroHedge.com. Murdered that man for laughs. Shocking video of out-of-control teens in Las Vegas. And I'm not going to play the clip on this article, but in the clip you've got two so-called black teens, or they look like they're teens, so-called Israelite men driving around in a car, bumping into other cars, and they hit a Edomite riding on a bike and killed him. A menstruous women bringeth forth monsters. This is what you get when you've got the family structure broken up. Single parent households and the government out here, TV and social media and the music, raising your children, a broken and destroyed society. Major media outlets, and on top of that, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have the curses of Deuteronomy 28 on you, due to your disobedience from the Heavenly Father. So that only expounds upon these issues. Major media outlets with a progressive slant downplay the surge in violent crime in Democratic-controlled cities and counties and often overlook the growing culture of violence affecting the younger generation. Again, those menstruous women bringeth forth monsters, and a lot of this younger generation committing these violent acts just happen to be you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. There's been a rise in violence committed by teenagers and young men in major cities across the U.S. Some experts question if mental health issues stemming from the C019 L-downs are the reason for the outbursts of violence committed by the youth, or perhaps Hollywood desensitizes teens with violent movies, songs, and video games, or maybe it's social media or the state promoting fatherless homes, which all those play a factor. And who has a hand in constructing the society? The so-called white man, Esau Edom, who pushes forth these agendas to bring about a weakened, broken down society that's more easily controllable. And he especially does it to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because the elites of these Edomites know who you are and know that the further they take you away from your power, the more time they have to rule and have control over you. Just read the book of Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, or read Psalms chapter 83. Who owns the music industry, the rap industry? Who owns Hollywood? Who owns these social media platforms? Who runs the U.S. government that pushes all these policies and agendas out here? Hey, it ain't Daquan, Jorge, or a Sitting Bull. No, it's Phil, Jeff, Carl, etc., etc. Edomites, the devil and Satan that the Bible speaks of. And then on top of this, what? The curses of Deuteronomy 28 are on our people, and we're living in the last days, really the last seconds of the last days, where all these horrific things, this lawlessness, this wayward society, this selfishness was prophesied to take place. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. And the header reads, difficult times will come. This know also, that in the last days, perilous, dangerous, deadly times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. Do as thou wilt. This selfish, social media, clout-chasing generation we're in, where people are only concerned about putting this false image of themselves on social media to get likes. You got a bunch of narcissists running around out here, only concerned about their own personal lives, and are willing to do anything to fuck anybody over to just jockey for a better position. Covetous. I got to get that bag. Got to get that car. I got to get that other man's woman. Boasters. And that's easy to see with these people out here, fronting out here, selling those wolf tickets, boasting about all this shit that they have on credit, that they had to go into debt to get. Proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, which is easy to see. These kids nowadays don't give a damn about what their parents have to say. Even then, their parents ain't shit. Why? Because their parents, were bad parents, couldn't raise those kids. And then those kids can't raise these kids. It's just all a downward spiral, a vicious circle. Again, thanks to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, pushing for broken homes, pushing for people, relying on government assistance in the state, pushing to get the woman out of the house so she has to get a job and can't take care of the kids. So what takes care of the kids? The TV, the smartphone, the music, the alphabet people, Sexy Red, Glorilla, Sukiani, these fucking scumbag rappers out here, which every time a rapper ends up dead in the news, you should be praying to the Most High, giving him thanks for that, because you rappers, you fucking whores out here, you scumbags of society that sell your own people out. You deserve everything that comes your way. And the worse death you get, the more rejoice should be made over it. Unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. A dog-eat-dog world out here. People just, being friendly with their friends or with their own family members or whatever to get theirs. They just manipulating people out here. And you can clearly see that this community, know thy neighbor mindset isn't out here anymore. More often than not, when you see your neighbor, coming out of the house or just coming to the house, you're going to wait till after they leave, or you're going to stay in your car and wait till they leave before you go in so you can avoid having a conversation with them. You can't build a society on so much distrust. Truce breakers, your word, a bond or anything like that doesn't mean shit anymore. People are ruthless out here. If they can jockey for a better position, they will throw you under the bus without a second's thought. False accusers, me too. Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. You try to preach that, look, the backbone to a society is a healthy family with a man at the head and a woman in her role. What is that? That's the patriarchy. Or that's oppression to women. If you follow the Bible, you're a square. You're living in the past. Everybody's allowed to do what they want to do. Free love, as they say. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. And when you're driving around, taking a joyride, hitting cars and running over people and then posting it on social media, you're lovers of your own pleasures, your own base animalistic lusts. And that goes for everybody out here. It's all about the next, I'm only working for the weekend. I'm working to go to the next party, the next concert, try the next drug, sleep with the next person, the next high. Well, hey, the Most High is about to have a lot of you people go into withdrawals and rehab through judgments of Jacob's trouble to kill you in horrific ways for all the sins and iniquities you've been committing. Let's get back to the article. While it's too early to tell why the younger generation feels the need to reenact scenes from the video game Grand Theft Auto, and who made Grand Theft Auto, who owns that company, Edomites. A video is going viral this weekend of an incident last month of teens in Las Vegas going on a joyride, senselessly targeting other vehicles and even intentionally running down a bicyclist. On August 14th, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department arrested a 17-year-old driver of a Hyundai who fled the scene after intentionally running over and killing Andreas Probst, a retired California police officer. So as you can see, they killed a Edomite police officer, which, I'll say this too, hey, that's a part of judgment as well. As it says in Job chapter 4, whoever perished being innocent. Hey, who knows how many Jakes he sent to jail wrongfully, in this life or what he's done in his past. So he got his judgment, and hey, those Jakes that got arrested and did that got their judgment. But still, at the end of the day, you going over and running over people in senseless violence. Hey, that's not the right way to do things. And what judgment is going to come to them? Judgment's coming to everybody for their wickedness. And again, we are living in the last days, these perilous times where people are just diabolical and ruthless out here. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the teens posted a video of the joyride on social media. Hey, they're proud, they're boasting their horrific acts, and they see nothing wrong with it. Why? Because they're these monsters that have been brought forth by these minstrous, strong and independent single mothers out here. Police were able to use the video as evidence, which showed the drivers intentionally killing Probst. And here's the video right here, if you want to go watch it. Blah, blah, blah. And here's another incident of the zoo getting released out here. We warned readers earlier this year about the ongoing issue in Baltimore City. From Daniel Barona's Twitter page, just a late night run at the great Baltimore City's Inner Harbor. Spring break 2023 vibes. This is what you get. You got the wicked of the scriptures running things. And this youth crime wave has spread to other cities, including Washington, D.C. We have seen a significant uptick in violence over the last 2 to 3 years, and I think it's almost been exclusively driven by 14 to 21-year-old boys and young men. Alexandria City Mayor Justin Wilson told Axios, a Generation Z, the last letter of the alphabet, these Zoomers, I can't see, society going past this generation because, hey, with these kids getting down like this and they have kids, there's going to be nothing left. So we truly are, living in the last generation, the last times before the end of this wicked age we're living in under these heathens, chiefly these Edomites, before the ushering in of the eternal righteous age under the children of Israel, under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, under the kingdom of heaven. And, if this planet was governed under the laws, statutes, and commandments, which it will be in the kingdom of heaven, you wouldn't see any of this madness taking place. This would get nipped in the bud right on the spot. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21. I'm going to read verses 18 to 21. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which we see a lot amongst the children of Israel, especially amongst the southern kingdom, you so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, which will not obey the voice of his father. What did it say back in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2, disobedient to parents. Hey, it ain't just for the children of Israel. Hey, just look at these other nations of people in the United States of America and just the madness that their kids are doing as well. Hey, it's wickedness all across the board, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother. Hey, if they even have a father in the home, with a lot of these single parent households out here, raising these emotionally unstable men or males and raising these women to be what whores out here, little girls, little harlots. And that when they have chastened him and he will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gates of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, which a lot of these kids, especially these Israelite kids, are out here. They're a glutton. A lot of them are obese, out of shape out here, and a drunkard. They on that they get high all day. They on pills, Percocets, Xanax bars, whatever, the lean, all whatever shit these kids are on nowadays, just complete zombies out here. And I remember once, back in the world, I was at the grocery store and, I was at my car, putting my groceries in, and an older, Eve came up to me and was like, hey, I'll pay you some money if, you can drive me back to my house and help me with my groceries. So, I did that and got back to the house with her, and she had her two, zombie grandkids, a boy and a girl, on their phones sitting on the couch. And they didn't even, I can't even remember if they got up to help or not, or maybe they barely got up to help after their grandmother told them something. But, I helped the grandmother bring the groceries into the house while the zombies were there being drunkards and gluttons sitting on the couches. Let's see what the judgment for, kids like that and, the wicked demons that did that thing in the article we read, or just these wicked people in general, the wicked children deserve, and what's going to be enforced in the kingdom. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. That's what that's what all these wicked kids out here deserve. They deserve to be stoned to death. And in the kingdom of heaven, hey, this is going to be a law that's going to be enacted for drunkens and gluttons and rebellious children. Of course, for the nation of Israel, this is not going to take place because we're going to be under the new covenant. So we're going to have the laws, statutes, and commandments in us and not go off. But as for the heathen nations that are going to be subject to the laws, statutes, and commandments, hey, if they're rebellious, child doesn't want to get in order, hey, they're going to get stoned to death. And it's as simple as that. But, in this weak, feminized, moist Western society, people would read this and be like, oh, that's barbaric and that's horrible. And then the next day, they get carjacked and they got to watch their loved one get raped in front of them by one of these monsters out here that these minstrous women brought forth. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Point blank, period. And this is going to come under a righteous rulership, which, when the righteous are in authority, the people shall rejoice. As it says in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel, enforcing the laws, statutes, and commandments on the planet Earth in the kingdom of heaven. The people shall rejoice, because evil shall be purged off of the world. And when a hint of breaking the law, statutes, and commandments comes up, hey, that judgment is going to go out swift. There's going to be no deliberation, no court cases getting put off for a couple of months. A judgment is going to get enacted on the spot. But when the wicked, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, beareth rule, the people mourn. A bicyclist getting run over, carjackings, monsters running around, whores running around, alphabet people running around, nobody trusting each other. That's the wicked fruits of the wicked bearing rule. But, hey, we're living in the last days, the last seconds of the last days, where wickedness is about to be purged off the earth and a righteous, eternal authority is about to be set up. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.